How did a wildfire cause the deaths of 19 of the most prepared and bravest firefighting pros? And why did only one of their team of 20 live to tell the tale? It seemed like a manageable fire at first, until a shift in the wind changed everything. Tonight, the lone survivor talks to us in an ABC News exclusive about what happened during those final hours, who made those last calls, including the decision that saved his life. Here's ABC's Brian Ross.
Airport 2310 how copy?
The first report of what happened on that fateful day in Yarnell, Arizona, came in this terse radio call from a paramedic lowered down to the charred scene.
Advise him I have 19 confirmed fatalities.
19 confirmed fatalities. 19 out of the 20 members of a firefighting team called the Granite Mountain Hotshots.
This started to pop up right away.
Yeah.
What led to the deaths of the experienced team of hotshots remains under official investigation. But now, for the first time, the lone survivor, Brendan McDonough, is talking publicly about what he saw and heard, how he survived.
Asked a million times, why am I sitting here? And why isn't someone else? Why aren't they sitting here with me?
All wildfires can become dangerous.
Everything seemed normal, not threatening, just a typical day going direct on a fire.
But at first, this one last June, on a rocky hillside outside the small town of Yarnell, seemed nothing out of the ordinary to McDonough's hotshot team.
It's a relatively small fire compared to other fires we've been on. Rocky country, pretty steep, and we're going to be on the move.
One of the hotshots, Andrew Ashcraft, even took a moment while they ate lunch to take this photo and text it to his wife.
I mean, just a normal work day, I guess.
Hardly. By the time Brendan and the other hotshots arrived in Yarnell, aerial tankers had already been dropping chemical retardant to slow the spread of the fire, to no avail. But their chief, Darrell Willis, says the team was up to the task.
They're all excited. You know, they're going to a fire. It's their day off, and they're excited about working on their day off because they're going to make some overtime.
From where we were, you could see the fire pretty well up high. We were able to see the fire and what it was doing, and that's when the superintendent and our captain asked me to be the lookout.
That would be the assignment that would separate him from the others and save McDonough's life. Based on McDonough's description and those of fire officials, the 19 others were here, unable to see the fire from around a ridgeline. McDonough was stationed here, able to see both the fire and the other hotshots.
So I was down low, able to look back at them, and able to look at the fire too at the same time.
And everything seemed normal?
Yeah, everything.
Not threatening?
Yeah, everything seemed normal, not threatening.
Around 3:45 in the afternoon, everything changed. The winds that had been driving the fire away from the hotshots began to shift dramatically.
At that point, I could see the fire already, instead of moving north, it started moving south.
Towards you?
Yeah, instead of backing towards us, it was starting to become ahead.
Racing towards you?
Yes.
McDonough says the team around the ridge could now see what was happening, contradicting some accounts that they were unaware the fire was heading toward them.
So they could see it as well?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. And they said, if you need to get out of there, go ahead and get out of there. That we can see what's going on. We want you to be safe too, you know. I just wanted to keep it short and simple. If you need anything, call me. I'm on the other end of the fire. If you whatever you need, I'm here. The buggies are parked. I said, okay, see you soon.
Who was that?
Jesse Steep, my captain. He said, all right, I'll see you soon. I said, okay.
That was the last time McDonough talked to them. He was at what firefighters call the trigger point, time to make a move.
So when you said, I'm at my trigger point, I'm going.
Yeah, they could see me getting off my rock. And, yeah.
Should they have left then too?
That's not my decision.
Do you wonder about that?
No, I never question the decisions they've made. I never questioned them before. Why should I question them now? It's not their fault. It wasn't a bad decision.
As the fire picked up speed, now moving at about a quarter of a mile a minute, McDonough made his way out of the path of the flames. And then very bad news. His team had been forced to deploy their individual emergency fire shelters, a last-ditch step.
It's not something you want to hear. There's been a lot of cases where people have survived, so there's hope, you know.
But the fire was incredibly intense, flames 50 feet high, with thick smoke, and the radios were now silent.
What were you thinking when you heard that?
Why wasn't I there with them? And to pray for their safety, and to pray that I'd be able to see them again, and their families would.
Once the smoke began to clear, the paramedic who was lowered to the area found what he later called a moonscape appearance. As he got closer to the site, the paramedic reported, "I could hear voices coming from the area of the shelters. I yelled up to the shelters repeatedly, but received no response. As I approached the shelters, I observed multiple firefighters who were obviously deceased and burnt black. I walked into the shelter deployment site and determined that the voices I had heard were coming from still functioning radios." The paramedic radioed in his awful discovery.
I need you to contact Air 400 via 1021. Advise him I have 19 confirmed fatalities.
I sunk. I mean, I was still with our vehicles in one of the buggies, and I could hear whoever didn't bring their phone, I could hear phones ringing, knowing that it was their wives, their family. I sunk into my seat, I sunk into myself. I couldn't think.
In the 6 weeks since, Brendan McDonough has been suffering the guilt of the survivor, grieving in private and putting on a brave face in public.
Coming home, that was the worst feeling ever. Knowing that these families would see me, but not anyone else off that crew. No one. I was the only person they're gonna see.
Do you torment yourself and think, I wish I had done this or this, something you could have done?
There's nothing I could have done besides have been up on the hill with them and someone else been in my position, to been with them and died in my boots with them. There's nothing else I could have done. I did everything that was expected of me.
The chain-link fence outside the Granite Mountain Hotshot's headquarters has become a memorial of sorts. Welcome but painful reminders for the young man who says he is no hero.
Do you think of yourself as a hero?
I just think of, myself as just doing what I had to been told. I look at a hero as someone who laid their life down.
You were prepared to.
Yeah, I would have. Lord bless my hotshot crew, my family, one and all.
At a memorial service in front of the families and the governor and the vice president, the young man read a prayer for his lost firefighting brothers.
Thank you, and I miss my brothers.
For Nightline, this is Brian Ross, ABC News.